Welcome back to New Rockstars. I'm Erik Voss, and losing Chadwick Boseman devastated fans everywhere, especially those of us in the nerd world whose whole lives revolved around an appreciation and curiosity over how the Black Panther would lead the future of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. The news of his death caught us all by surprise, and I have spent these past couple weeks just trying to respect Boseman's work, mostly by avoiding speculation about what Marvel Studios might try to do next. I mean, I didn't even really do a reaction or a news report video, just because it felt weird to me to try to spin this when all I really wanted to do was reflect on Chadwick, his various roles, and his struggle. So despite the many requests I've gotten, I have repeatedly just asked the Marvel fans out there for patience on the whole what happens now question, just out of respect. In this video, I'm gonna update you on the whole Black Panther 2 situation, clear up any questions you might have, try to explain how I am looking at Marvel's future in the context of Black Panther, but really just to kind of describe the conversation I hope we can have about this. Because honestly, all I care about is respecting Chadwick and amplifying the message that he wanted us to hear. So Chadwick Boseman was diagnosed with stage 3 colon cancer in 2016, but he continued to work on Marvel films like Black Panther, Infinity War, Endgame. The only ones who knew about his illness were reportedly his family, his agent, his trainer, and the director of the movie 42, Brian Helgeland. Black Panther director Ryan Coogler did not know. He was in the middle of writing the script for Black Panther 2, assuming Boseman would return as T'Challa. In Coogler's statement, he said, "I spent the last year preparing, imagining, and writing words for him to say that we weren't destined to see. It leaves me broken knowing I won't be able to watch another close-up of him in the monitor again or walk up to him and ask for another take." Marvel head Kevin Feige didn't know either. He said he found out via email the day of Boseman's death. Now, Boseman had lost a ton of weight, which did concern many on social media, but Boseman's family recently said he was convinced a week before his death that he'd be able to rally and return to shoot Black Panther 2 this March. Now, many have wondered how it could be possible this was such a secret, believing that major movie stars must have to undergo some kind of medical exam for insurance reasons. But it turns out, according to a film finance attorney, the bigger studios like Disney don't get completion bonds and are more likely to shoulder the risk of things like sickness or death. Look, I gotta say, I am very uncomfortable with this conversation moving on to what Marvel Studios might do next. Because let's face it, we don't have a lot of experience having this conversation. Neither does Hollywood, by the way. This industry has lost actors midway through development or through production. They sometimes recast, sometimes they resort to awkward VFX to digitally insert actors back into the film. Sometimes it's done tastefully, sometimes less so. Really, I see this as a struggle between two general directions: the logical path and the impactful path. Now, a number of fans and Hollywood producers are very good at the logical path. It's like they're grabbing you by the shoulder saying, okay, look, we gotta recast, we gotta move on. I don't wanna be sad anymore. We could make this work with resampled audio and existing footage. We can spin this into an adaptation of like this comic series, or launch a new hero or a new villain or a toy line. There's money to be made. Let's go, 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 go. I do not believe that is the direction we need to go right now. I mean, we could, but I don't think we should. Actually, not to get too Cat Stevens on you right now, but I think a lot in life is could versus should. So in terms of the impactful path forward, I think we need to think about what the impact of these decisions will be, and even more importantly, what Chadwick wanted, because he knew how important this franchise was to young fans. You've probably seen this clip by now, but he once got emotional talking about terminally ill fans trying to hold on until Black Panther released.
To a certain degree, it's a humbling experience because you're like, this can't mean that much to them, you know? But seeing how the world has taken us on, I realized that they anticipated something great. And I think back now to a kid and just, you know, waiting for Christmas to come, waiting for my birthday to come, waiting for a toy that I was going to get a chance to experience, or a video game. I did live life waiting for those moments. And so it put me back in the mind of being a kid, just to experience those two little boys' anticipation of this movie. And when I found out that they
take your time with it.
Yeah, it means a lot.
That says it all. He knew Black Panther was shared by everyone. It was a celebration of so many faces, so many tribes. It is so meaningful for this title to live on. Black Panther 2 might be delayed, that is okay, but it will not and should not be just canceled. But it also looks likely that the character of T'Challa might be ending with Chadwick Boseman. There don't appear to be any plans to recast or use CGI to awkwardly try to puppet him back to life. If you looked at Kevin Feige's statement, he said that Boseman was as smart and kind and powerful and strong as any person he portrayed, and he now takes his place alongside them as an icon for the ages. That, along with Coogler's statement about writing words for a character that we'll never see, suggests to me that the director and the studio are doing a great job keeping that impactful path in mind. Recasting is an option they could consider years from now, like maybe when all Marvel heroes are being rebooted in some alternate multiverse reality. And yeah, while maybe a VFX cameo of Chadwick Boseman's appearance among his ancestors on the ancestral plane could be a very beautiful and tasteful inclusion. But let's be clear, I do not want Boseman's likeness digitally jammed into some weird prologue death scene, or for his existing audio to be chopped up and recontextualized like they did with Carrie Fisher in The Rise of Skywalker. And I hate to even be talking about this, but you're already seeing people doing this with Chadwick Boseman. That moment in Captain America Civil War when T'Challa is mourning his father, people are editing this clip into their tributes.
In my culture, death is not the end. It's more of a stepping off point. You reach out with both hands in Bast and Sekhmet. They lead you into the green veldt where can run forever.
Sure, it's a beautiful moment delivered perfectly by Chadwick Boseman, but also one being taken completely out of context of what this moment was really about.
That sounds very peaceful.
My father thought so. I am not my father.
Task force will decide who brings in Barnes.
Don't bother Miss Romanoff. I'll kill him myself.
Yes, also a great delivery, necessary to establish T'Challa's dramatic arc from vengeance to forgiveness in that particular film. But you see, by trimming this clip, well-intentioned folks are already eager to re-edit Boseman out of his context to make their statement about him. It's like the blood is invisible. I get if you want to use this as an example of Boseman's amazing performances, cool. But just please stop using this line as a weird epitaph. Anyway, Marvel Comics already has a tradition in place to pass down a mantle from one generation to the next. They pass the torch. They do not replace or erase. Spider-Man passed from Peter Parker to Miles Morales in the Ultimate Comics. Ant-Man passed from Hank Pym to Scott Lang. And yes, the Black Panther is a title inherited by T'Challa from his father T'Chaka, and then passed on in recent comics to his sister Shuri. By the way, I think it's very telling that Marvel recently made Shuri Black Panther comic storylines available to read for free. Shuri taking over the mantle was probably in Marvel's plan for a future film, definitely not right away though. And yeah, I hear the concerns that even that might feel too soon to some audiences. Now, there are some ways Coogler and Marvel could mitigate that, like a time jump, maybe attached prelude comics to the film, giving us accounts of T'Challa's many heroic adventures, maybe a tasteful off-screen departure for T'Challa that doesn't minimize it as a plot point or try to tie in a new threat with it, maybe some heroic self-sacrifice where he saves Shuri by transferring that vibranium necklace to her and maybe encasing her in his protection, as we've seen Marvel heroes do before. Now, I will say that sharing power like that is a core theme to Black Panther, a very impactful one, and that power doesn't have to stop at Shuri. She could take on an even younger protege to pass that torch on to in the future. I don't know. I'm just gonna trust Marvel to take its time, consult with the cast, consult with Boseman's loved ones, figure out the most respectful and impactful way forward. Don't try to rush any logical fixes like, oh, we got it, the character will die defending Wakanda from Namor, or we'll use this to introduce the X-Men. No thanks. I don't need Boseman's death to be exploited for franchise world building. And honestly, I don't need Black Panther 2 to make its May 2022 deadline. It probably wasn't gonna stick to that anyway. Just take all the time you need. And for all of you watching, let me know what you think the most appropriate way forward is, and please try to keep it civil in those comments. Obviously, this is a very difficult thing to talk about. But before I go, just a little reminder that New Rockstars tomorrow will be doing a live watch party for the DC fandom event. Our good friend Hector Navarro is hosting the live stream here on New Rockstars YouTube channel tomorrow, covering all the panels and reveals. So be sure to tune in for that. But as for this video, that's all I have for you. Thank you for watching, and to Chadwick Boseman, thank you to staying so strong for us, King.